also wanted to address the point of why we advertise it as a property tax increase. The millage rate that we assess property by does stay the same. However, the digest, as was pointed out by one of our speakers, the increased total of taxes that the county does collect does increase based on some of these other assessments. By law, we have to say it's a tax increase, even though the county is not coming in and increasing our tax rate. And so that's why it is stated as such. There was a question about why is the county increasing taxes during the time that there is a pandemic. And I want to refer back to the slide that did talk about some of the changes that we are making to our budget, which are some very meat and potato aspects of our budget. There are increased pension and health care costs that we plan for every year. So that's always a part of our budget, and that helps to offset some of the burden to our employees who have not consistently received a merit. In fact, I've spoken to an employee who's been here for several years, and she said she only received merit 3 times because the county has not consistently provided that for our employees. Right now, the way that the market is, and you may have seen this in the news, it is very difficult to retain employees. You have people out there begging people to come work. We do not want to slide into having any more employee retention issues within the county, and we felt that it was prudent for us to provide a 3% merit, even though some of our employees said that is not enough, because there have been so many years that Cobb County, in its frugality, did not provide merit, and some of them have chosen to leave the county. When people leave the county, that provides a burden on our citizens because that results in a decreased quality of services that you receive. So even though you may wonder why things may cost more on the front end, it costs us more on the back end when you don't receive the quality services that you desire, and we have to have people go back out, or we're trying to train people to get to the level that they need to be in. Another aspect of this budget is for us to fund capital maintenance. There have been many years in our frugality as a county, we have not funded capital maintenance. That means that the buildings that you sit in and enjoy have not received the regular maintenance and investment that you expect when you go into our facilities. You don't pay that up front, you will pay it on the back end. It will be more. So either we prudently address this every year, or we come back and ask you for more. So we are not asking for more than what we've asked in years where we funded this regularly. We are moving our capital maintenance budget back to where it should have been year after year. Another aspect that we're responding to are all the issues that have been going on socially with respect to social justice and equity. There has been a lot of concern in our county about what we are doing to be responsive to these needs. Past boards have said that they would put forward this position and support it. They never funded it. So we could have had people addressing some of the social justice issues that people email commissioners about. By having that title and being responsive to our county manager, we can't do it. We would like to do it because the cost is greater on the back end when you don't address those issues than they are on the front end. That we're not asking for a lot. We're asking for 4 positions out of a county that has 5,000 people. We are asking to fund capital maintenance. We are asking to fund vehicle replacement because you know, like I know, if we don't put money in our cars, guess what? We may get by right now, but guess what? We might have to get a new car later because we didn't do what it took to maintain our cars today. This is very hard because nobody wants to increase your taxes. I don't want to see my taxes increase, but we are asking for modest adjustments to make sure that we are doing the basic things. Nothing that we've asked for in this budget, I perceive, has been frivolous, but there are some things that we have not done year after year so that we can be a good steward of your tax dollars. So I'm asking for this board support. I would love to have the community support to make sure that Cobb County does not continue to fall short on the basic things that we need to do to be able to provide the level of service that we know that you not only expect but deserve. Elections. We've had an elections meeting. We spoke about state law. We spoke about the increased burdens that has been put on our elections office. We know when people went to vote last year, we had to close early voting locations. Why? Staff wouldn't work there. Why? Some people are making less than $10 an hour to make sure you can exercise your right to vote when they can go and work at a fast food restaurant and make more. When we had to bring in temp people to come in and help with the ballot count and recount, the temps were making more than our own employees. And our own employees sat there and wondered why they had to continue to go through this for you to exercise your right to vote. We want to make sure that when we have elections, your voting sites are open, that you're not waiting in long lines. So we thought it was prudent, again, for us to fund this so you are not having to be burdened by this. We can wait till next year, but what happens when we have elections at the end of this year and you're waiting in line? Is your time worth it? And are you going to come to us and ask us if we can do more? It's hard, again, we don't want to increase taxes. But again, I'm going to belabor this point. When things are not going well, these seats fill up because people come and ask the county for help. This costs money, it costs time, it costs resources for people to be responsive to your issues. Help us to help you. We are not asking for anything beyond what it takes, again, to deliver the level of service that you come and demand. You don't ask, you come and demand of Cobb County, and we want to do our best. Help us do our best. Please help us pass this budget. Please help us do what we can to be good stewards of your tax dollars so we don't have to keep coming and asking you for more because we didn't do what we were supposed to do in the first place.
I have a prepared statement that I would like to address the public with regarding the budget. As most of you all know, public safety has always been my #1 priority. When asked to lead the charge for step and grade, there was no question in my mind to take this on. With a solid plan to get rid of compression, thanks to our finance director and public safety personnel, we can now start that process. In 2019, sworn officers received a 7% raise, education pay, and other incentives and benefits to help with retention and recruiting, including additional mandate classes. This made a huge positive impact in recruitment and retention of sworn officers in public safety. Last year, we implemented the step and grade. However, it did not take care of the compression issue. So that brings us to this year's budget request for step and grade to continue, but also to remove compression. This will be the first year of a 3-year process, but we must get it done. This plan has the support of the sheriff, police, fire, and all of public safety. I can't stress the importance of this, not only for public safety, but all of Cobb County. Additionally, we are restoring funding for 38 police officers too, and equipment and vehicle replacement for police and sheriff. The 3% merit for all employees is also well-deserved, as no one received a raise in 2020, and this was probably the toughest year we've ever faced so far during a pandemic. Employees stepped up to the plate, never missed a beat, working with less but producing more. Also included is the pension and health care cost increase, which we really have not much control over. I also feel that the positions for our elections division are justified with the increasing number of registered voters and turnout, the highest it's ever been. We must provide adequate personnel to make sure our elections are safe and secure. Probate court and district attorney positions are also justified in this budget, as they were approved temporarily through CARES Act money and will now be made permanent. The diversity and inclusion officer, as Chairwoman said previously, was actually approved in last year's budget, last year in the current budget, but because we weren't adding any new positions, it was put on hold and never funded or hired. No one was ever hired. Reducing the water transfer has been a major project for me since 2013. The transfer is a practice that is legal and has been done since 1998, but I feel that fees generated in water should stay in water, especially when they're desperately needed in water. We started reducing the water transfer incrementally by 1% each year beginning in 2013. And then in 2016, instead of going down to 6%, and went back up to 10% when we rolled back the millage to match the increase in the digest. Then in 18, we started the reduction process all over again, and we're now down to 8%. I am disappointed that it will remain at 8%, but I agreed to this in order to fund step and grade and the other positions that we mentioned. And I understand that 1% of the water transfer is equivalent to approximately 2.2 million. Is that correct?
2.4.
2.4?
Yes, 2.4.
Sorry. I'm thankful it's not going back up to 10. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I will start working on this again for next year. For these reasons and for the betterment of the county and my commitment to public safety and all employees, past and present, I support the budget proposal.
I just want everyone to be mindful that Cobb County is growing exponentially. Currently, we are the third largest county out of 158 counties in Georgia.
59.
That is tremendous, and we're only third behind Gwinnett and Fulton County. We receive, typically we're inundated with emails asking or requesting, or in some cases demanding, that roads are fixed. There are issues with our infrastructure. And as much as we all are for quality of life, those are quality of life issues. Those issues require funding. And there's just no way around that. Myself, the chair, and my fellow commissioners, despite what some may think, we are stewards. We are good stewards over your tax dollars. And I get that at times the government, for whatever reason, good or bad, or maybe justified, we're often looked at as being this free-for-all. It's just free money. Let's just grab it. Let's just spend it however we see fit. I assure you that that is not the thought nor the position of anybody on this dais or anybody in this room that works for Cobb County. As the chair has mentioned, and also Commissioner Burrell, our employees have not received a raise in years. Most of you, or for those of you who are employed, I'm not sure how long or how much you would give to an employer where you will not receive a raise. But what I will share with you is that the staff here at Cobb County, they go above and beyond. They're overworked, they're underpaid. They're on call, they're not doctors. Anytime we reach out, they're available to answer not just our questions, but also your questions. If we receive a complaint about a pothole, they are on it. Cobb County has 785,000 people, and we are quickly approaching 100. We are quickly approaching 1 million people. What does that mean? What does that mean for the infrastructure? What does that mean for the roads? What does that mean for litter? What does that mean for your quality of life? I'm not sure how you all would answer that, but for us sitting here, our county manager, our finance person, our staff, that means making the best decisions on your behalf, whether you agree with the decision or not. Please understand we do not go into these meetings haphazardly. They're doing their research, and they're coming back with the best solutions for every resident in this county. There has been a lot of talk about taxes. This meeting tonight is about taxes. Taxes, as we know, is a third rail. Nobody wants to deal with it. Nobody wants to have that conversation. I get it. None of us do. But the truth of the matter is, for those things that we demand and for the maintenance and what is required to run this county, it costs money. What we see is a lot of deferred maintenance with our buildings, with our courthouses, et cetera. But what's been happening is that we've been kicking the can down the road, and unfortunately now we're on a dead-end street and we just cannot kick it any farther. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I receive calls about police coverage, courts backlogs, code enforcement issues, even some of the housing inspection issues, making sure that residents feel safe, parks, park maintenance, roads and beautification. Capital maintenance, we see what's happening around the country when it comes to investment in infrastructure and what that can mean and how devastating that can be to a community when underinvested. One of the things that I want the community to realize is because of a long history of being frugal, staff has gotten extremely efficient. Sometimes to the extent where that efficiency hurts. And the recipients of all of that hurt is the community. This budget is not a fix. This budget is the bare minimum, frankly. And that's the journey that I'm hoping that we are willing to partake as a community so that we can steer this ship the right way and we can have sustainable funding models. Because when we lose employees, you lose the knowledge base. You lose a significant investment in the community. And we don't want to be in that position over time either. So this particular budget is meant to address some of those gaps so that as we prepare to move forward into our future, which is projected to have almost 1 million people here in the county, that we're ready for that. Because if we just keep kicking the can down the road, well, when we come to that point, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. It's like a car that you never get the oil changed on. There is a day where you will have to deal with a broken down car. So to do those things in the meantime, with an infrastructure that is already in place, and with a board of commissioners that are willing to speak, to talk to, collaborate intently with the community, and finding solutions, this is that opportunity that we should be excited about. It's not the easiest thing to navigate, but we sure can do it together.
Thank you, commissioners. I absolutely value your comments, and at the end of the day, this is about providing the best service to our citizens, the least expense possible, to ensure we're doing good by you today and doing good by Cobb County's future as we move forward. It's been stated, this is not a perfect budget. We are barely scratching the surface of a lot of unmet things in this county that this board is at least willing to address. And so we'll have more candid conversations. We look forward to being able to work with you to work through these challenges. But I know that there is good on the other side, because when we work through these, we can work better for you. So with that, we've had a motion, a second, we've had discussion. Is there any final discussion? With that, those who are in support of this motion, please raise your hand. The motion carries 4-0.